is working as a coordinator and facilitator among various stakeholders in India, between associations, individuals, policymakers, and various stakeholders. I'll request MJ, if you can, in next 3 minutes or so, if you can highlight, with all the challenges and the opportunities which is highlighted by Dr. Dalwai, how things can improve in the future of agriculture, and what should be the role of various organizations. I think that will be important to look at, because as we know that every organization has its own role to play, but how to interact, how to integrate all these efforts and capabilities for the development of agriculture. Over to MJ. We are waiting to listen to you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Team Kaidila, for inviting me to be part of this seminar. And quite a few speakers are good friends and known for quite some time. The topic that I was shared was the role of the institutions and the chambers in development of agriculture. So I think let me by and large confine myself to that. Dalwai Saab has very well laid out the background of with the sharing of the reports of the doubling farmers' incomes. And thank you, Vijay, for very nicely initiating the overall discussion today. If you look at the role of institutions in agriculture, it is less understood and less talked about, but is much more important. There are 4 levels of institutions that are working for the development of agriculture. One is the global institutions. Leading the pack is, of course, the World Food Organization. So developmental institution, as we understand, is the body which either executes the programs or sponsors the programs or funds the programs, or working on larger policy and program agenda. So FAO, as we know, is the leading body, but there are many other organizations. If you look at the categorization of that, it is falling into 4 distinct categories. Financial institutions, because in addition to financing the project, they are also into developmental interventions. So UNDP, if you look at International Fund for Agriculture Development, and there are many more we will list subsequently. The second are the research institutions. As we know, there is a international organization called CGIAR, Consultative Group on International Agriculture Research, which has 18 institutions of the current count, and one being headquartered in India, known as ICRISAT. So these are the, whether these are financial institutions or the technology or research institutions or the policy institutions, they always have a developmental role. So these research institutions also do have a developmental role. So one side we have international bodies where we have research institutions, we have developmental institutions, we have financial institutions, and we have aid and trade agencies also. The next level is the national institution, regional institution, where we have formation like BRICS, like SAARC. They do have a very focused agriculture agenda. And then we have national institutions of the 2 kinds, one which operate the national level and one which operate the international level. For example, USAID we all have heard of. It is a national development agency of the United States, but focusing very largely on agriculture, and the Africa Feed the Future program is being executed by USAID. We have DANIDA, Danish International Development Agency. We have CIDAS, the Canada International Development Agency. We have JICA, Japanese International Cooperation Agency. So similar agencies are there with most of the developed countries, which operate worldwide in helping the development of various sectors, agriculture being one of the very, very promised and focused sector of these agencies. Then we have national level institutions and development agencies. For example, if you look at our own country, we have NABARD leading the pack. Very large role that NABARD is playing, in addition to being the refinance agency for the cooperative and rural banks. It is actually funding large number of projects. It is supporting the startups. It is helping the farmers, club formation. It is funding many projects on the ground. So there's a very, very large and invasive role that NABARD is playing in the development of agriculture. Then we have agencies like National Horticulture Board. It is also a very important development agency. So there are national level, and then NCDC, though it is supposed to be the financing body for the cooperative sector, but it has a very large developmental role. Then we have the state level agencies, which are playing very important role. For example, in each of the state, we have state level almost 30 organizations, whether it is Marketing board, which is a very powerful institution at the state level. In addition to procurement of the food there, they have a very large developmental agenda. Many projects they do fund. Infrastructure funding they do. So many other areas. So state level, we have, depending upon the size of the state, depending upon the policies of the state, anywhere from a dozen to 3 dozen state level institutions. Last on the district level, which is less discussed, but the role of the districts in the development of the rural economy in particular and agriculture is very, very important. So district boards are there in every state, but let us not treat them as a kind of formal developmental agencies. So these 4 level international development agencies, regional agencies, for example, SAARC, BRICS, and such kind of SAFTA, NAFTA, these kind of formations are existing. The national level agencies working internationally, national level agencies working nationally, and then the state level agencies. The second part of the topic was that role of the chambers. We know that there are 3 levels of industry or trade bodies that are existing. One are the national level chambers. In India, if you look at, there are 4 or 5 national level important chambers. CI is of course topping the list with the largest chamber. Then FICCI, ASSOCHAM, Indian Chamber of Commerce, PSD Chamber, and so on. Then there are state level chambers. In some state, there are specific for food and agriculture. Some state there are industry, commerce, and agriculture is clubbed. Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture, which I chair, is also one of them, a national level chamber, fully focused on the entire spectrum of food and agriculture development. But these chambers were supposed to work on policy issues, supposed to work on trade and business facilitation, supposed to work on developmental partnerships, supposed to work on facilitating startups and new businesses. But unfortunately, my observation of most of these chambers has been that instead of playing a very proactive and developmental role, they have more of got into the events role. So largely many chambers have actually got into either national level event kind of organization or policy advocacy, not for the sector, not for the sustainable development, not for the overall economic development, but for the specific interests of the members. So I think somewhere the chambers have to understand that they have to broaden their role and look at that how the overall potential of these sectors can be unleashed, how a sustainable development can be fostered, and how developmental partnerships, and of course in collaboration with the governments, a more proactive role in terms of progressive policy formulations with the expertise of the chambers and their collective expertise of all the members, which are of course the industry, that can be done. And now that post WTO, and especially if we talk about the food and agriculture context, doubling the exports is a very key priority. In fact, 2-3 days back, we had a doubling the agro export seminar. So Vijay and Dr. H.P. Singh both were there. So that is a very, very important role that the chambers can play, because many of these chambers have the global presence and bilateral arrangements are there. For example, FICCI has about 70 countries that has its presence. CI might be having 90 countries presence. So the bilateral arrangements these chambers have got, through that they can use their good offices, they can use their understanding of different countries and the institutional mechanism in place. By that, boosting the exports, what the Honorable Prime Minister in the second tenure, the first statement that Prime Minister Modi made in the second tenure was doubling the agro exports. And by doubling agro exports, many benefits that can accrue to the farmers and the agriculture sector. As we know, and in business we say that competition improves everything. So export orientation improves everything. It helps improve the quality and cost competitiveness. It helps supply chain management to be streamlined, value chain development, and of course, looking at all the latest global practices so as to be competitive in the global market. So I believe that chambers will have to expand their roles, and more of the institutional partnerships that are required among the chambers and developmental agencies and the national governments. For example, Global Development Agency, this morning we had a Zoom conference with the World Economic Forum. They want to focus greatly on India in agriculture, and of course they have set up Green Revolution 4 kind of platform. So we suggested that there are about a dozen national level institutions which if you can enter into partnership, probably you'll be able to maximize your impact and the results very greatly compared to going alone or going with only the members that you have got on the WEF forum. So I believe the future we'll have to look at more institutionalized approach with developmental agencies forming partnerships, and of course many of the large corporates which have a very strong presence among the farmers at the grassroots level through the large distribution networks. So that together, in any case, now we see that most of the corporates, in addition to the business focus, they also have a very large agenda of sustainable development where they are forming partnerships with the farmers and different kind of agencies, whether these are FPOs or ACAB institution or the startups. So together, I believe that future challenges that are emerging in agriculture sector, we should be able to address with the institutionalized approach and more of the strength that the developmental agencies have got to leverage upon that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you, MJ. I think that was a very good overview. And I think the role of development agencies and other associations are basically to focus on networking with the right people so that we have an overall development perspective, with also focusing on market intelligence, because without information, direction is difficult. Now coming back